Do you have that sense of urgency? This is a huge part of us getting to designing our ideal life, ladies and gentlemen. ET gave you some tips, some action steps, some clues today of how to stay motivated. I know we hear it all the time, right? Like maybe I don't need more motivation, or maybe some of you hear the other side that you do need more motivation, but understand that you got to go find that. You got to go get that. You got to keep yourself in that state. That's how we produce. That's how we excel. That's how we get to the life that we don't need a break from. He gave you three things. He said, one, you need your sense of urgency. Your sense of urgency. Do you wake up every day like, man, this could be my last day on earth? This could be it. If today was it, what are you going to do? Same thing you did yesterday? Same thing you did last Monday? You're just going to chill in the house? You're just going to, like, if this was your last day, how would you operate? I'm sure you would operate differently. But the thing is, none of us know that. None of us know when we're going to go. None of us know how much longer we have in the hourglass, in the sand, right? In the hourglass. We don't know. So why don't you have a sense of urgency? You think tomorrow's promised? You think next week is promised? Like you think that you'll be here in a month? If so, we got to change that belief. Remember, you change your thinking, you change your life. So maybe that's a belief you have that you got more time than you think you do. Maybe we need to change that belief so we can get rolling, so we can have a sense of urgency to get to the life that we need, to make sure our families are straight, to make sure our relationships are good, to make sure our finances are in the right place, make sure our health is good. Like maybe we need to wake up and start moving. I know today is a holiday for most people. I didn't even know until I went to log into my bank and they were like, we're closed today. I was like, what day is it? Like, what do you mean you're closed? Right? I had no idea. Why? Because every day is this. I don't recognize the same holidays. Like I don't know because I'm on my own time. I got my own sense of urgency. I encourage y'all to have the same thing. Step two, he said, leverage the cues. Leverage the cues, right? Meaning, like, how do you prime yourself? You should know you. It's funny. I talk about my mom every once in a while. She probably doesn't like it when I talk, but she's not on this stuff. But she tries to like find me on social media someplace. I live with my mom, by the way, right? Like we take care of my mom. So like I see her. So I have these conversations and then she like spies in on my social media and stuff to figure out what I'm doing. But I just had this conversation with her because again, what I tell y'all and what I do in my life, like I spread to everyone in my life. Right? Like I don't allow people around me to be like negative or down or sad. Like it just is not how I operate. That's not my environment. I give more than that, right? So I'm talking to my mom a couple days ago, and she's not feeling great, right? And I'm like, what's going on, right? She's like, oh, I'm a little depressed, blah blah blah. And I'm like, got it, right? We've been through this. When do you feel great, Ma? And she was like, I feel great in the morning when I'm reading scripture and in my prayer time from like 8 a.m. to like 10 a.m. I'm like, great. Do you do that any more throughout the day? Like, if that's when you feel the greatest, do you do that at noon and then at 2 and then at 5 and then at 7? She's like, no. I'm like, well, that's what I would do, right? If this is something that makes me feel good, if this primes me, then I'm going to do this all day long so I can stay there instead of doing it, feeling great for this 2 hours and then having the rest of my day be depressed, right? You got to leverage the cues. Is there music? Are there things, podcasts you listen to? Are there things that you can do to constantly keep you in that state? Again, we're in the money business. There's times I have to make phone calls to people to reach out to, right? Set appointments, all that type of stuff. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Do you know what I do? I turn on some motivation stuff. I turn on some ET. I put something on before I make the calls to prime myself. I'm not thinking I'm motivated at that time. I have to prime myself to be able to get to that place. But the key is, do you know how to do that for you? Do you know what motivates you? Do you know what's around you in your environment that you have that's going to make you perform at the level you need to perform? You got to make sure you do it. Lastly, set deadlines is what ET said. He said, set deadlines. Some of us don't have deadline. We don't know what we're living. We don't know what we're doing things for. We don't know like, hey, in 3 weeks, I got to go do this. So that's why I need to get prepared. Hey, in a month, I need to go do this. That's why I need to get prepared. Hey, in 6 months, I'm going to be here. So I need to make sure I'm good in this place. I have deadlines for things. They give us deadlines in school. That's why you study for the test, is because you know there's a deadline. That's why you have a sense of urgency at school because you're like, oh, I got to study for this thing because otherwise I'm not going to be prepared. But in your own life, are you doing the same thing? Are you operating the same way? You should. Why? Success leaves clues. You hear us say it all the time. Success leaves clues. That's the key. That's the key. Success leaves clues, and you got to follow the success. You got to follow the successful things that other people are doing. I'm going to share this in our text. We can always correlate because these are the secrets. These are the things that most people don't do that will cause you to become great, right? It says the great ones have a sense of urgency. Here's what it says. It says middle class performers operate like there's an endless amount of time in a day, week, month, year, life. The world class is extremely sensitive to time. The great ones have a sense of urgency because they're operating at a level of awareness that constantly reminds them the present moment is all any of us really have. The world class is on a mission to fulfill a dream, and they know the clock is ticking. The only time amateur performers develop a sense of urgency is toward the end of the day, week, or before they go on vacation. Imagine if they channeled that same energy, enthusiasm, and focus into their everyday performance. Worldwide productivity would probably triple in one day. Professional performers constantly remind themselves that life is short, and if they're going to make something happen, now is the time. This thought process makes the middle class uncomfortable. Remember, they prefer to operate out of state of mild delusion. Knowing the clock is ticking and none of us know how much time we have left is too uncomfortable for emotional amateurs. For pros who operate from objective reality, it's a primary motivating force. It's one of the reasons the great ones tend to pursue large, magnificent visions. They know their time on earth is limited and they want to leave a legacy. Their sense of urgency goes back to the beginning of the mental toughness process, which is clearly defining what you want. What do you have a sense of urgency to do? If you know the answer, you can implement this world-class philosophy immediately. If not, make it your mission to discover the embers that burn within your soul, to focus that passion on what you really want. Don't stop until you find it. When you do, create a sense of urgency to act on it now. Don't hesitate. Pursue your dream boldly and fearlessly because it may be later than you think. I hope this thought process does not make you uncomfortable. I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable to know that you're going to die. I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable to know like we're not going to be here for long amounts of time. Like I hope that doesn't make you I hope that just gives you a sense of objective reality. Like understand this is how this life works. We will not be here forever. You will not be with your kids forever. Like that's not the way it goes. So what are you doing in the present moment? In the present, today. Today is what you have control over. What are you going to do today that sets you up for the future? What are you going to do today that makes sure your kids are good? What are you going to do today that's going to make sure your health is good, that your finances are like today? Sense of urgency. Middle class, and again, we use that term middle class versus world class, but just in general, society, the people around you, they move at a very slow pace. It's whenever I get around to it. Why? Because they don't value time in the same way. They don't see time in the same way, right? They're not sensitive to that. Like this thing isn't forever. Like you're not going to have energy to do this stuff forever. You're not going to have the body to do these things forever. Like it's not the way it works. So once you understand that, you got to get on it. You got to first define, like we always say on these calls, first clearly define what you want. What do you want? What type of legacy do you want to leave? What do you want to see in your health? What do you want to see in your finances? What type of relationships do you want to have? Like sit down and figure that out. Because then once you know that that's what you're going after, then you can get motivated to get your sense of urgency to go after it every single day. If you don't know what you want, why would you be motivated? Why if you have no idea what you want in your health life or in your financial life or in your relationship, why would you wake up and go after that every day? You don't know what you're going for. That's why that's always the first step. It's clarity. Are you thinking about the things that you want and how clear are you on it? Do you have it written down somewhere? Is it something you look at? Or is it just a hope? Is it just a wish? Is it just something that would be nice? We'd all like to hit the lottery, right? We'd all like to be able to never work and live on a beach. Like, sure, like that's nice. And is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? Or do you want impact? Do you want people to remember your name? Do you want your family legacy to be good? Do you want your great, great grandchildren to know who you are? Is that important to you? I don't know. You know for yourself. And the key is once you get clear on that, then then you can start to get yourself motivated on a daily basis. Like ET said, through leveraging the cues, through changing your environment, through setting deadlines, through having a sense of urgency to get to that life. That's it. That's the key, y'all. And again, I know easier said than done. It takes time. It takes you breaking away from the pack a little bit. It takes you breaking away to get a little clear on exactly what it is you're doing. To be like, man, I can't take all these influences in right now. I need to figure out exactly what I want to make happen. Then once you figure that out, find the other people that also want to make things like that happen, and let's start running. Let's have that sense of urgency. You should have someone in your corner that is pushing you. You should have someone in your corner that tells you, hey, you're not moving fast enough. Hey, pick it up. Hey, you can read more. Hey, you can do more. Someone should be doing that. If not, everyone's going to slow you down. People around you are going to slow you down. That's not for us. That's not for the people like us that want to go off and design our ideal life. This quote says, one realizes the full importance of time only when there is little of it left. Every man's greatest capital asset is his unexpired years of productive life. Don't get to the end of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get to the last years of your life and regret not giving everything you have to the days that you had left. Don't get to the end of your life and regret that you should have been doing some other things, that you should have been focused, that you shouldn't have allowed that depression to knock you out for 6 months, that you shouldn't have allowed that circumstance to stop you going after your dream for 5 years. Like, don't be that person. That's not how you want to live. We want to be the people that continue to grow and learn and design our ideal life, ladies and gentlemen, because it's too crowded down here at the bottom. Dana, it's time to get to the top of this thing. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. Go out there and make it happen today. Get that sense of urgency up. Get motivated. Get yourself going and watch how your life changes. I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday. Take care. Love you guys.